Hello, this is the tutorial for the Deutsche Telekom simulation game, and we are in the game now. This is the starting point. Let's begin with the controllers. First, we have the CD environment. It's a simulation specifically for fiber optic actions. Now, let's move on to the controllers. In the bottom left corner, we have the movement joystick. We can use this joystick to move around. If it's too fast or slow, you can adjust it in the Settings menu. To open the Settings menu, click on the Settings icon in the top left corner. From there, you can slide the bar to adjust the movement speed. I'll make it a little bit faster. Now we can move. Additionally, in the bottom right corner, we have a joystick to look around. As you can see, it's currently a bit fast, but you can adjust it in the same Settings menu. It's located in the top left corner. I'll make it a little bit slower. Yes, this is better. You'll notice another icon in the top right corner. It's for quitting the application, and there are two buttons on the right side for some main actions. I refer to them as main actions. These buttons are used for grabbing items, equipping, placing, canceling, and dropping. We'll be using them frequently. Let's continue. From now on, I'll use my keyboard to progress through this simulation because it's faster. On the right edge, we have the Inspect button. If you click the lower button, it initiates the Inspect function. As you can see, by clicking the Inspect button on my tablet, I can inspect certain items. Not all items can be inspected, but there are some that can be. Let's change the angle on the right page. You'll see another button. When clicked, it changes to this button. This button signifies changing the angle in Inspect mode. Some items only have one Inspect mode and angle, while others have different camera angles. By clicking that button, you'll see that this machine has 3 different angles. If I click Cancel, I exit the Inspect mode. For example, inspecting the clipboard with the same button, you'll notice that we get a closer look at the clipboard. However, if I press the Change Angle button, nothing happens because the clipboard only has one angle. I'll also cancel to interact with objects using buttons. You need to aim at them with the circle in the middle of the screen, represented by a magenta color. Simply target it and press the desired button to interact. Otherwise, if I press Inspect without aiming, nothing happens. You see, you have to aim with your circle for it to work. This applies to the machine as well. It only has one angle. And before I show you other things, I need to introduce the Equip button. After pressing it, I can equip items. Some items can be equipped, while others cannot. I can equip this rubber, for example, by placing it in the right position. There is a green placeholder, and when I press the Place button, it changes to the Place button. On the right side, you can see that I pressed it, and when I place it, I can retrieve it by pressing the Equip button again. I play and retrieve it to put it back in the right place because we need to clean up the environment. Afterward, I press the Cancel button and it goes back to its original position. Basically, the Equip and Inspect buttons work in this manner. Moving on, we have touch interactions, which I refer to as touch interactions. To perform touch interactions, you just need to touch the item or object you want to interact with. For example, in this case, it's the back door. If I simply click on it, without pressing any button, it opens. Clicking on it again closes it. You don't have to point directly at the object to interact with it using your finger. You don't have to do this. For example, I'm pointing in this direction towards the building, but if I click on this door, it opens. However, there's an invisible rectangle in the middle of the screen that limits interaction near the edges. For instance, I can't open the door now because it's on the edge. It should be slightly towards the middle, like this, and then it works. But now, it doesn't work. I opened the other door. Let's say I pick up an item, for example, a compressor. You'll see the green placeholder again. To place objects, you just need to point at the ground, which I call the place ground. You can't put it just anywhere. You need to see that green clone. If I press cancel, I cancel the action. If I grab it again, like this generator, now it's red. I equip this one, and you'll see it's green again. However, if I try to place it here, it won't work because it's too close to another item on the ground. It should be green. Now I can place it. Furthermore, we can inspect some placeable objects. As you can see, we can change the angle. There's a button to open and close it, or even turn it on. However, we can't do it now because it's not connected to the generator. We don't have any power to add power. We will be using these cables. Now, let's take the tent, for example. I will equip it using the button, not by clicking directly. For interactions like doors, covers, and other similar things, we use finger interactions or touch interactions. However, for other main actions, which I refer to as main actions, we use the buttons on the right edge. As you can see, there's that green placeholder again. Look, it's a port and I can place it. I can grab it again and place it. If I press the cancel button on the right edge, I can put it back in the right spot. For short interactions or touch interactions, as I mentioned earlier, we just need to click on the screen. We don't have to look at an exact point or object with the circle. It should be slightly towards the middle. For example, if I just click on this cover, you see it opens. We can also inspect this fiber optic distribution box, but it only has one angle, so we can close it again by touching the screen or the object. We can open some chest covers or perform certain animations in the game by simply touching, as you can see now. We can close this cover and open it again. For important actions like these, we generally use the inspect mode to interact. For instance, if I touch the cover of this microflow machine, it won't interact. But if I inspect it and touch it here, as you can see, it interacts. I change the angle to find another interaction. Yes, you see this left button. If I click it, there's an interaction here. It simply moves the circles inside the machine. I'll cancel this one. Next, let's move on to cable connections. Firstly, we have two types of cables in the game. The first type is the two-head cables. If I equip it, you can see it has two ends. To connect these cables, we use the inspect mode because outside of inspect mode, we can't connect them. In the inspect mode, I inspect and change the angle using the right button. Then, I just click with my finger on the correct socket to establish the connection. That's how it works. I can disconnect and connect again. The other end of the cable needs to be connected to this compressor, specifically the compressor cable, which is orange. I simply touch it with my finger and it connects. If I cancel, you can see it's successfully connected. What about the generator? It has two sockets, as you can see, two slots for connection. The first one is for this compressor and the other one is for this bobbin. To get the other type of cable, I just touch it with my finger. I don't have to enter inspect mode for this. This cable type is a one-end cable. As you can see, it has only one end. The other end is inside this compressor by default. I just touch it again. I don't have to point at this cable with my circle. I don't have to, if I touch it, I get it. I can simply connect it by clicking on the socket. It's connected. I hope now we can. No, not yet. We should turn on the generator first. Let's enter inspect mode and adjust the angle. Then, we just need to click on the switch. As you can see, it's turned on now. It's on. Now I hope we can turn on this compressor. I'll touch the green button. It's turned on now. And what we have to do is we can just connect this cable. This is also a one-end cable, so I don't have to inspect this object to get it. It's a one-end cable. I should connect this one as well. You see, it's connected. And now, I have to connect all the cables. This is the last cable you need to connect. It's a fiber optic cable. You need to prepare your environment before connecting this fiber optic cable. Pick up this cable. This cable has two different ends, as you can see. One is a plug, and the other one connects to this log device, which I call a tablet. Basically, it also has three different angles, you see. I'll connect this cable, the right one. And as you can see, our hand changes to the other side. The other end of the cable needs to be connected to this bobbin. Let's connect it. That's all for now. The main cables are connected. The process for the fiber optic cable is the same. You need to enter Inspect mode and click on the right fiber optic cable end. You can find the correct fiber optic end on the clipboard. Inspect it, and it will show you which cable end is the right one. It's a pink or magenta color, actually. What we can do now is we can use this ring, for example, if we click it. To use sponges, just click on them, and you can use the sponges. I mentioned before that there are no animations for now, but you can use sponges. One more thing. Inspect this log device and change the angle. You'll see there's a tablet. It works like a real tablet, it's interactive. You can't click everywhere, but in this process, we have to click on the MicroFlow Log application. We open it, and now what you have to do is click on the right edge of the screen to access the settings. Make sure the mobile hotspot is turned on, and then you can navigate through the tablet. I'm just clicking on the correct options because I know what to do, such as the micro cable. You can also scroll up and down in this menu, as you can see, and you can type something in this area. For now, I'm using my keyboard because it's on my computer, but on a tablet, the keyboard will appear on your screen at the bottom edge. You can type something for all the necessary areas. And you click Versetzen or something similar. It's German. You can write something. It should be some kind of number. Continue. Let's go back. We have another one-end cable here. As you can see, it's for the connection between the MicroFlow and the tablet. I touch it. We have it. You see. Inspect this device and connect it. That's all, I think, for the cables. Most of them are connected. Let's take a closer look at this MicroFlow machine. It has two interactions inside this MicroFlow machine. First of all, on the upper page, you can see there's a black line. If you just touch it, you connect the wire into it. You can connect another one, the green one, by clicking on the bottom edge. Just click on it and you get this wire. Now, we have to close the cover. There's a bottom button here. If you press it, it activates the air. You'll see. The air is on. But we forgot to close these two circles. The wire is flying, as you can see. To keep that wire inside, we have to close those circles after connecting the wire. I'll connect this wire again. You see, I just click on this button and I just keep it there. Now we turn on the air. Actually, it's not a good idea. I have to connect this fiber optic cable first. I'll get this cable and connect it to this end. The connection for this cable end is not usual. It's different. Normally, for two-head cables, you have to inspect the machine or other components first, and then you can connect the cable end. But for this one, you don't have to inspect. You just click on the edge, the end of this green cable, and you connect this fiber optic cable. Next, you go to the fiber optic distribution box, inspect it to find the right one, the magenta one, and then you connect it. That's nice. Now, how do you open this microflow machine? You should first turn on this device here. There's a play and stop button on the right. Press it. It's open now. You see, it has reached 50 meters. You need to turn on the air now. It says you must turn on the air. Which one was the air? The bottom one. Turn it on. You'll get a message. To interact or answer the phone, you just need to click on it with your finger. It says, "Cable has arrived. You can cut the airflow." You have cut the airflow. The air is off now. And we should also turn off this device. It's turned off. It doesn't make any sound. This is our main process. To disconnect these cables, you see, you just click on them and inspect. You'll get to the other end. And if you want to add a cable, you cancel, and it goes back to its default position. You must disconnect all the cables, and before doing that, don't forget to turn off your devices. Otherwise, you may make a mistake. That's how it works in the simulation. The final step in the simulation is to complete it. To finish the simulation, we need to go to the other side of this van and click on the door handle. Once we click on the door handle, a small menu will appear with two options. If we choose the Cancel button, we can continue playing. Alternatively, if we press the button on the left, the results will be saved and the simulation will be completed. The results will be sent to our database, and after the validation process is completed, you will be able to see the results screen and your final results.